We don't want to become our parents, right? But then all these years later, I look at myself and I'm like, man, I got a lot of my dad's qualities. I got a lot of my mom's qualities. And I'm thinking about this. Aaron Rodgers would never want to be compared to Favre. Favre, Southern guy, rigid, threw all those picks. I'm a lot smarter than Brett Favre. And Favre never thought Aaron Rodgers was his equal. Guy went to junior college, California guy, thinks he's better than everybody. They're becoming one another. Think about this. Let's go to Favre's first 10 years in the league as a Packer, and let's go to Aaron's first 10 years as a Packer. Both have a Super Bowl, multiple MVPs, 9 out of 10 winning seasons, and 6 Pro Bowls. Both have iconic arms, commercials, beloved by the fawning media. First 10 years, same guy. Maybe one from the South, one from the West, same guy. But remember how Brett Favre's career ended. And couldn't I make an argument? This is sort of how Aaron's will end. How did Favre's last 5 seasons go? Barely a 500 road quarterback, 3 teams, multiple Pro Bowls, couple division titles, never got back to a Super Bowl. And oh, by the way, kind of flaky. Remember, Favre, I'm going to retire, I'm not going to retire, I'm going to retire, I'm not going to retire, kind of held the team hostage. And oh, by the way, there were a couple of quarterbacks emerging, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, who look better. When I look at Aaron Rodgers down the stretch, I think he's going to make Pro Bowls. I think he's going to win a couple division titles. I'm not sure he's going to get back to the Super Bowl. And he's becoming a little like Favre, whereas your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault, coach out, Ty Montgomery out, defense problem. Aaron Rodgers' first 10 years are identical to Favre's. Will his last 7 be?
Thursday Night Football returns tonight as Phillip Rivers and the 10-3 Chargers face off against Patrick Mahomes and the 11-2 Chiefs in what could be the most important game of the season. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video.
It's going to be an incredible game tonight. Thursday Night Football. Remember when the media was whining about it a couple years ago?
Well, in all fairness, it was new. People don't like new. They had the crazy uniforms. They weren't the best matchups. There was a lot of change all at once.
Now the games are great. We've had like 5 of the best games of the year on a Thursday night. We've had even the blowout, the Carolina Steelers blowout was fascinating. I mean, you were like, oh my God, Pittsburgh's going to win the whole thing. They look amazing.
And people freak out when you change like the intro music to the show.
They do.
You think they're not going to freak out if you add an extra game in the middle of the week?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's mind-blowing.
People don't like change. Here's a good point. By the way, cold flu season's here. Try Vic Sinex nasal spray. Use as directed, 12 hours. Can work for 12 hours. Don't be just jamming that thing up there every 15 minutes. It's really good. I just saw this story. This is the worst idea ever. I'm trying to keep a straight face with this. Brett Favre would be intrigued by a Packers coaching offer.
Oh, no, that's on The Onion.
It's not on The Onion. It should be on The Onion. Can you imagine if you're Aaron Rodgers waking up? That would be his personal hell. But let me tell you something, folks. Here's what coaching needs. Discipline, details, film study, adapting, and practice. Brett wasn't good at any of those. The 2 greatest players of my life who would make the 2 worst coaches are Charles Barkley and Brett Favre. They are 2 of the greatest players I've seen in my life. But Favre wasn't disciplined. He wasn't always coachable. He was incredibly stubborn. Schematics were second to ad-libbing. Film study was optional. And he was liked to practice as long as practice went short or went his way. Charles Barkley, similarly, a terrible practice player. Not really into the details. Sort of screwing off. Defense was optional. Schematics, same thing. Like, this is a terrible idea.
I disagree. I think it's a marvelous idea.
Well, it'd be a complete great story for us.
I root for chaos. This is a great idea. Packers, do it.
It would be 0-16 with Aaron Rodgers. They wouldn't win a single game. By the way, Brett Favre would hate coaching Brett Favre. Charles Barkley would hate coaching Charles Barkley. But there, by the way, Barkley's one of the 10, I've said it before, he's one of the 10 best basketball players I've ever seen. Barkley was unbelievable in his prime. And he's the best basketball broadcaster, analyst I've ever seen. It'd be terrible. And if Charles is watching, I'm sure he's not, you'd be a terrible head coach. And if he ever says he's be a good head coach, Shaq and Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson need to stop and say, Chuck, you'd be a terrible head coach.
Well, Favre told us to TMZ Sports. He said, believe me, it's not going to happen, but how can you not be intrigued by that? Oh, this is the best story I've ever heard. This is so good.
Enjoy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
I mean, can you imagine the scene? To be a fly on the wall in Aaron Rodgers' living room when he gets that phone call. Yeah, so we've hired Brett Favre. Amazing. All right. Something like that could happen in Oakland. I believe that. Mark Davis was asked yesterday at the NFL's owners meeting about his thoughts on Amari Cooper's recent success with the Cowboys. He was also asked if he talked to Jerry Jones about Cooper. And Davis said, we laughed a little. Results are what speak. That's what it's all about. In the future, we might be saying, damn, he was a great player. We always had the fastest guy in the field no matter what. I think my dad would have loved Amari, but it just didn't work in our system. What is the Raiders system?
So I asked Greg Cosell. Listen, this is going to be, you know what he's basically doing, Joey? What Gruden is doing is, listen, this is my team, and I'm going to get rid of the previous guy's stuff. We're going to get draft picks, and we're going to build a team I want, but I don't want to inherit a super expensive pass rusher and a super expensive wide receiver, and I'm not even in love with the current quarterback, but he's probably too good to let go. But in the end, Gruden's saying, I got a 10-year deal. I'm going to do it my way. The difference between what he's doing and Kyle Shanahan is Kyle Shanahan didn't inherit anybody as good as Khalil Mack or
right.
Amari Cooper. But Kyle Shanahan's doing the same thing. Is this about my guys and my system and my way?
I mean, it's not uncommon for someone to come in at the top of a company and remove the higher-ups that are there.
Even talented ones.
They don't purge everyone, but they get the people out who have influence over everyone else who have been there so that they can institute whatever their mantra or new direction is. So that's not uncommon. And I don't necessarily think that the Khalil Mack trade or the Amari Cooper trade was just about him trying to clear space for his guys. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they're moving to Las Vegas, and it's very expensive to move players like Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper on these huge contracts to Las Vegas. There's a lot of stuff involved with this. You have to move an entire organization.
Right.
It's very expensive, but he just better get it right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the NFL is having a dream season. Scoring is exploding. New stars are emerging. Ratings are up. And the past 2 weeks have been shadowed by some familiar issues, players accused of assault, and how teams and league investigators responded. Some uncomfortable topics in the Winter League meeting yesterday surfaced. And Goodell was asked about reports that suggested the league had not seen the Kareem Hunt video until TMZ released it.
We don't pay for video evidence. We don't have from our standpoint, we think that that's not appropriate for a league organization to do that. So we obtain material that we have access to. We look to do that, but we're not going to do it by corrupting people or trying to find a way to bribe them into giving us video. That's not what we do.
But you're not the police.
They're not.
You're not held to some moral bribery standard. Giving someone money to obtain a video that is undoctored, in my mind, is not a violation of any kind of moral standard. You're not paying someone to give a testimony. You're asking for a video.
Yeah, NFL does 90% of stuff well, fluidly, and smartly. They have struggled with this.
I feel like they've struggled with it because the power is too top heavy. It's a really simple answer to me. Diversity. Real diversity. So you have people in the room who are from different places in life, who look different, who have different backgrounds, different skill sets, all with the same level of input. That helps to change the way that problems are solved. Also, put it to a committee. It does not need to be one person's decision.
Thank you.
I mean, when you get in trouble, don't you go before a jury?
Yeah,
It's not one person's decision how things are handled.
If I was a commissioner of any league, and I've said this, the first thing I would do as a commissioner of any league, in any sport, hockey, baseball, MLS, I would create a committee to handle domestic violence, assault.
Any kind of investigation.
I don't even want to know. I'm not a lawyer. I have no background. It's the second thing I would do is check on my television contracts and to make sure my TV partners like me and they're happy and I've got. But the first thing was I'd create this and get me out of the discipline area, because that is, even when you do discipline well, it's an opinion. It's in social media world.
You cannot win.
Ever.
You cannot win.
Ever.
Even if you nail it, there's going to be something that goes on that doesn't work.
Don't leave yourself culpable for any of those situations.
I completely agree. Finally, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Kyler Murray was drafted 9th overall by the Oakland Athletics in the 2018 MLB draft. He signed a contract that included a $4.6 million signing bonus, an agreement that allowed him to play one more season of college football before he reports to spring training in 2019. At least that was the plan. Now, according to John Morosi of MLB.com, there's actually a way that Kyler can get out of that deal. His contract with the A's includes a provision that lays out how he would forego his salary and repay his signing bonus if he chooses to play in the NFL. And if he is the first overall pick, which I don't know if anyone is projecting him to be that really, but he'd get about $33 million guaranteed. If it's the last pick he'd get in the first round, he'd get about $10 million guaranteed. So he'd be making way more money if he went to the NFL. I don't know what he's going to end up doing.
Your money is more guaranteed in baseball.
Your money is guaranteed in baseball.
Couldn't it come down to this though? Because he's going to be a multimillionaire in both.
Right.
And whether he gets $40 million in this sport or $58 in the other one, what do you love when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a baseball glove? Is that what you think of, or a football? What do you love more? Because I've said this before in my business. Don't chase money. When you wake up in the morning, what drives you? And if you love baseball, then go pursue baseball. Don't worry about the money, because you're going to have $25 million in the bank regardless.
Right. I mean, he's in a unique position, obviously, being that he's that talented to be projected highly in both sports. But I think if you have the equal talent, I guess, in this situation, like you said, go with what's going to make you happy.
The media,
don't do too much.
The print media, because the print media doesn't make much money, they always fall for the chase the money. But when you're as talented as this kid and are going to get paid in both, you chase your love. I can make a lot of money in radio or TV. Now, I'm lucky I can do both at the same time. But you have to make a decision in life. When you're driving to work in the morning, there's no nobility in being miserable and wealthy. That's an awful life.
Right.
If this kid doesn't like football and loves baseball, I don't give a rip about what the money is. You're going to make it with both.
Right. And I mean, at that point, it's like how much money is really going to make you happy. It's not like he's talking about going in the 6th round in the NFL or the first round in baseball. Like, if it's all equal, do it.
He's a really fascinating prospect in both. And the NFL's saying, right, I mean, good Lord, the way the NFL's played right now, I never thought I'd think a 5'8" guy could work. But I look at him and Tua at Alabama, and I'm like, oh, yeah, those guys don't make it in the NFL. We'll do something.
Look at what you were talking about with all the way all the rookies are playing anyway.
He'll make it somewhere. I mean, he wouldn't be my first guy I'd take, but he'll make it somewhere in the NFL. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Good stuff. Greg Jennings is around the corner. Warren Moon is talking about Tom Brady. Don't go anywhere. Getting tickets online can be complicated. I was having dinner last night with a friend. My wife and I went out and had dinner with a couple in the neighborhood. And he was talking about he took his wife to watch a Laker game the other night. And I said, where'd you get your seats? Where do you have a buddy? He goes, SeatGeek. Yeah, how about that? Oh, that's the advertisement I'm reading right now. How's that? SeatGeek. He said, it's easy. I said, I know. And there's a lot of sites out there. It's not complicated. It's completely reliable, and bottom line, they're designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. They search all these sites for you. They grade every ticket based on value, so you know when you go to SeatGeek, oh, I can afford that one. That's a little too rich for my taste. They do concerts, they do comedy, they do theater, and they do sports. I got the SeatGeek app on my phone, couple of taps, took me 30 seconds to put it up there, and it's the easiest way I found to shop for tickets. If you want to do it quick, it is easy breezy stuff. And my listeners get $10 off their first SeatGeek purchase. You download the app, enter the code COWHERD, COWHERD. Promo code COWHERD, $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets.